Thanks for tuning in to the Vintage Cinema Review. On today's show, we're covering from 1984, Gremlins.
Yeah, Gremlins was a fun one. It's a crazy Steve Spielberg movie, and I think we had some interesting things to say about it.
Yeah, for sure. I learned a few things. One, don't get water on it, and don't eat it after midnight.
And don't let light hit it or something.
Yeah. So
Gremlins.
We hope you enjoy from 1984, Gremlins.
Hey, this is Matt.
And this is Dave.
And welcome to Vintage Cinema Review.
Where every week we review some of our favorite films from the past.
Hey, there ain't no late fees here.
Oh, hey, what are you guys loading up there in the V.C.R.?
All right, what's up, Dave?
What's going on, guys?
Hey, Zach, what do you got there?
Oh, hey, man, I was just snuck in. I saw you had the door open. I figured, yeah, I'd join in.
Yeah.
I see you guys got a movie going.
Yeah, what do we got?
Gremlins, 1984. I see the VHS cover right there.
Throw it in.
I wish I had this on VHS.
No, that would be probably be like 20 some bucks. Of pure
Well, what I've
VHS
seen
action.
lately, it might be 20,000. I mean,
But,
some of these prices. No,
Wow.
I mean, I doubt it'd be that much.
Oh, okay. I thought that was factual.
No,
All right.
no. But yeah, Gremlins, 1984. I remember seeing this as a kid, and I enjoyed it back then, and I just watched it recently, and I mean, still enjoyed it, but in a different way, I guess.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I don't know. I this time around, I found it kind of cheesy.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
I mean, when you were a kid, it was very cool. Like everybody wanted what is it, a Mogwai?
Mogwai, yeah.
Yeah. But like now, as you get older, I mean, it was fun, enjoyable, but it was Gremlins.
Oh, I'm going to dive in.
Okay.
Well, we're going to dive in here. We've got to talk about this one.
got a lot
We got
to talk
some
about.
actual factuals to get through, but I've got some details on this one.
So, hey, Matt, you got a synopsis?
Yeah, I do. Of Gremlins here. Don't ever get it wet. Keep it away from bright light, and no matter no matter how much it cries or begs, never ever feed it after midnight. Wow, that's a synopsis.
Is this the right movie?
With these instructions, young Billy Peltzer takes possession of his cuddly new pet, which he names Gizmo. When Billy slips up following the rules, his picture postcard hometown of Kingston Falls is in for a bizarre Christmas Eve. The result, a pack of devilish, mischievous-making creatures is set loose, and that means your whole family is in for a roller coaster ride of wild fun and fright. Get ready for Gremlins.
Yeah, so Gremlins.
It says a hoot not to be missed.
Gremlins, 1984.
Steven Spielberg presents.
All right, well, let's get started then. We got Gremlins, like I said, 1984, rated PG, which we'll come back to.
Yes. Interesting facts on that.
Yeah. Runtime on this was 1 hour and 46 minutes. Budget on this was $11 million. Box office, $212.9 million.
Dang.
Well, what?
That's a quick dang.
Wow.
Yeah.
We call that easy money.
Yeah, so Zapp had a good line in the last one, and I asked him, because he's a numbers guy, and you said something about the squeeze being worth the juice. Or
Yeah, so typically you're not going to do something unless the juice is worth the
the
squeeze.
juice is worth. I like that.
Yeah, so for damn sure, the juice was worth the squeeze on this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They said most of the budget on this was the little animatronic, or not even animatronic at the time. What were they called?
Like
they were puppets.
Puppets, yeah.
But they were pretty high end puppets for the time.
Yeah, this beats the hell out of what you used to see at Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there was no Professor Chuck, whatever they called him.
Yeah.
Dr. Green Jean. They had a couple of different dudes there.
Wow, wow. Your mind just melted like 4 or 5 different television shows all together, all at the same time.
Wow.
All together.
Dr. Green Jeans alone has to be at least 2 shows.
Wasn't that like a band around Harrisburg?
Mr. Green Jeans,
Oh, that's
I think
Mr.
it was.
Green Jeans. Okay.
It could be like Doctor Who and a little
Mixed
bit of Captain Kangaroo, maybe. Yeah.
This was released June 8th, 1984, the same day as, anybody know?
Back to the Future.
No, it was 85.
Ah.
Take a guess.
I got nothing.
Big movie, 1984. Ghostbusters. Same day.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
And it still did that great The box office. Well, I thought they were released at different times. I thought
Same day.
Same day.
Same day.
East Coast,
same
West
year.
Coast could have been.
Here's a little fun fact about
fun
that.
fact.
Fun fact.
Here's the first fun fact of many that we'll
Fun
get
fact.
into. So this movie did well, very well in New York City. Very well. Better than Ghostbusters, unlike the rest of the country. Do you want to know why?
Yes.
Wait, so to be clear,
Okay.
We'll tell you next week. No. Go ahead.
if I understand correctly, you're saying that Gremlins did better in New York.
City.
Sorry, Gremlins did
New
better.
York City.
Gremlins did better than Ghostbusters in New York City.
Yes. And there's a reason.
Wasn't Ghostbusters filmed in New
It
York
was.
City?
You're getting there. You're getting very warm.
I
They
was
didn't-
thinking because people like to see stuff. So
the
know,
ghost thing.
Well, no. I was thinking because people like to see things that happen elsewhere, close to where they live, other than where they live. As a for example, growing up, my parents would watch the news from outside of Harrisburg. They would watch
Right.
Lancaster,
Lancaster,
Pennsylvania
yeah,
news.
yeah.
Right.
And I'd ask my mom, "Ma, you're watching the news out of Lancaster.
Right.
What do you want to see? What's going on in Lancaster?" Answer: well, if anything bad's going on, I know that it's not happening here.
Not having here. That was a good guess, but it's not. It's because the people in New York were so pissed over the traffic that Ghostbusters caused. They hated the movie.
It's
Resentment.
like boycott.
They
It's
was
like
resented.
boycott
They didn't want to watch. They were
Ghostbusters.
like, "Fuck Ghostbusters. We're not going to watch it."
Haters gonna
Everybody's
hate.
Haters gonna hate. Yeah. So yeah, that's one of many fun facts we'll get into. So
So
the-
they did not want to call Ghostbusters in New
no,
York City.
they wanted to. Yeah.
They wanted to call Gremlins.
Call Gremlins. Yeah.
Mhm.
So director on this was Joe Dante, and writer was Chris Columbus, and our boy Spielberg was once again
Spielberg.
Yeah, he had
He's
his
in
hands in
everything.
everything in the 80s. But
Chris Columbus. I wonder if that's the same Chris Columbus from Harry Potter fame. I mean,
I thought you meant the one that sailed
still,
around.
no, not the Italian guy. I'm talking about Chris Columbus. I think it might be the same dude. I'll have to look into that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get back
Get
to
back
you.
to this. Okay,
Okay.
cool. So I'll go through the cast here, unless Matt, if you have it, or I can do it right
No,
here.
go ahead.
You
You're good
guys
at the
got it?
cast, man.
Okay. So we have Zach Galligan as Billy Peltzer, and he was like kind of an unknown at that time. And I
Wasn't
think,
he in the Wolfpack?
I don't know. I know he was in. There was a movie after this he was in. I'm trying to remember what it was.
No,
but
it was
anyway,
like Zach Galifianakis.
Sounds to me like he's still unknown.
He's still unknown. Yeah, he like they said he was like chomping at the bit to do the DVD commentary when they came there. Like, oh yeah, I have nothing else to do, so let me do the commentary.
I could use.
I know
Yeah.
he had a thing for Phoebe Cates. I read.
Well, who doesn't?
No,
I
but
mean,
he was saying that their,
Thank you, Dave. Who doesn't?
their
Yeah.
chemistry, like
Oh,
there was, he was like, I want her,
I don't.
and they were like, I don't know, because she just like showed her boobs,
Yeah.
and they were like,
Oh, I
she's
see
a-
what you're saying. Yeah. I got you.
because they didn't want her, they didn't want Phoebe
didn't
Cates, they
think
thought
she
it was too
Not
too
wholesome enough.
risque.
Risque.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tainted.
Mm-hmm.
So Phoebe Cates as Kate Barringer, Hoyt Axton
Hoyt.
as Randall Rand Peltzer. That was Billy's dad.
Yep.
Polly Holiday as Ruby Deagle, Frances Lee McCain as Lynn Peltzer, the mother, and also the mother of Lorraine Baines in Back to the Future.
Was that
Truth.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
yes. So Judge Reinhold as Gerald Hopkins. So Judge Reinhold and Phoebe Cates once again in not Back to the Future, in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. They reunited on this. This is 2 years later, I guess. Dick Miller as Murray Futterman, and Glenn Turman as Roy Hansen, Key Luke as Mr. Wing, Scott Brady as Sheriff Frank Riley, Corey Feldman as Pete Fontaine.
There he is.
Yeah.
You had to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then there's other ones on here. Nobody really I don't think, too much importance. Yeah.
You can skip them.
Well, to you, Dave, but what about them?
Well,
what
yeah.
if they're listening in on
Should-
this podcast?
should I
and
go through the whole-
What about
just
their
saying,
family?
You know,
Well,
look, hey,
I don't
look,
want to bore you guys
No.
with
this
names.
is an equal opportunity podcast here.
You're right. So let me go
Just
through the
adding
rest. then.
time.
Just
Just adding time.
just for it, Jonathan Banks as Deputy Brent Fry, Edward Andrews as Roland Corbin, Jackie Joseph as Sheila Futterman, Belinda Belaski as Mrs. Joe Harris, Harry Carey Jr. as Mr. Anderson.
Harry Carey.
Yeah.
The moon.
Harry Carey Jr.
Made of cheese. He would eat the moon.
Yeah. Nikki Cat and Tracy Wells as school children. John Louis as Mr. Wing's grandson.
Tracy
was a little
Wells,
kid.
isn't she in
Porn
other?
star.
Is she a porn star? Is it the same girl?
Tracy, that was Tracy Lords.
thought Wells was one too.
Maybe that
I
is
think
one
I
too.
dated a girl named Tracy
Tracy
Wells.
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I beg your pardon?
Well, I never promised you the rose garden,
Yeah.
the Olive Garden.
The Olive Garden.
I'm sorry, damn it, I messed that
Was that
up.
her last name Wells?
No.
Oh. What is that last name? Tracy. Oh my gosh. All I know is my man took her out to dinner at the Olive Garden.
Look, so Olive Garden was, if you couldn't go to Alfred's Victorian,
Yes.
the next best was the
Olive
OG, man.
I love Olive Garden. I mean, I'm not gonna front.
all you can eat
I
on
like
the breadsticks and the
Sometimes I go there just
salad.
for soup and breadsticks.
Yeah,
for the lunch.
that's what we do. The lunch.
I'm all about
it's
it.
fantastic.
That Alfredo sauce, just don't quit.
Wells. I can't think of the last name. I shall though. I shall.
So
What
we got 3 more here. Kenny Davis as Dory. That was, I guess, the bar owner. Mushroom as Barney. That was the dog. John C. Beecher as Dr. Molinar. That was
The doctor.
the science teacher or whatever. I forget that they brought Gizmo to.
Oh, yeah. He was in a couple movies.
Mhm.
A couple
Yep.
different ones.
So here are the voices on this.
Wait,
Okay.
Hold up.
that was going to be a fun fact.
Okay, I'm going to leave that for Zap. Yeah. We'll get into that later.
You can give some of the voices, but there's at least,
I'm not going to give any
All
of them
right.
because I'm going to let you break it down.
You're talking about the Police
I only
Academy?
know 2. I only know 2 that stuck out.
Police Academy.
Well, they're
Is that
definitely probably the 2 that everybody are going to know. These other 2 are nobody cares probably. I hate to say it, but at any rate. Steven Spielberg did have a cameo in this, and he was the man riding the recumbent bicycle when Billy's dad was calling from the
the what bicycle?
Oh, from the Inventors Convention.
Yes.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was on one of the bicycles.
Recumbent?
Recumbent bicycle?
I don't know.
I don't know. When I watched it last night, I didn't catch him in it, but I guess he was in it.
If I were to venture a guess, I'm going to say that the recumbent bicycle is the one you see from way back in the hayback, where
One large wheel, one small wheel.
correct. That
Yeah.
front wheel is Shaquille O'Neal height,
Oh.
and then you got that little John
little one
on
in
the
the
back. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've never
I know which one
I
you're
never
talking about.
understood that.
Yeah,
me
yeah.
neither.
Prior to engineering excellence, somebody figured, oh, this is a good idea.
Right.
Let's get up on that and just pedal away.
Yeah.
I could be completely way the hell off on a recumbent
No,
bicycle.
you're probably right.
No, who's to say?
Who is to say? I don't know, but he was in it.
We're not even finger boxing on phones right now to figure out what the hell a recumbent
No.
bicycle is.
And you could do that if
Yeah,
you wanted
it's
to
very-
because we
Thanks
get
to them
calls.
internets.
So, fun fact on this: filmed on the same Universal backlot, filmed on the same backlot as Back to the Future.
Yes, it was. I read that.
Yeah, and
So the town scene, the everything that you see, like the, you know what? Actually, that makes sense. That absolutely makes sense. Having only just as recently as you rewatched that movie for the upteenth time, when you see dude running around the town, oh hey, I got to get to work, and he's running past all of these storefronts of just that. What used to be, Americana old town look, and you're, up and down the street is just towns before the concept of malls,
Right.
or obviously well before online shopping. But when you went to town
for
to
stores.
shop, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Real quick, taking you guys back for a minute. A recumbent bicycle is a bicycle that places the rider in a laid-back reclining position.
With his mind on his money, his money on his mind.
Something like that, yes.
Laid back.
Yeah.
Very nice,
I was
very
trying
nice.
to get one.
So
like, just
we
one of
were
these times.
completely off.
Yeah, I
Those
was-
are the new
okay,
wave
so-
that you're all sitting back like you're sitting on like a reclining chair and you're pedaling the front pedals.
I like
Much
what
like this. Much like
Oh, okay. I've seen guys riding around like that.
Yeah, like-
I've seen that.
those are in like richer cities. You see the guys on those.
Yeah, they have Dayton rims on them too.
spinners. There's actually spinners on this
Yeah.
one recumbent.
So, do you guys want to get into more fun facts? You want to talk about the movie?
Well,
How do
is
you want?
anything not fun about the movie Gremlins? So any fact that we
mean,
say will
yeah.
necessarily be a fun fact.
Well, we can burn through the facts real quick. Do you have any you want to get into, Matt, or do you Zap? Any you want to
have-
talk about your voices? Let's get
Well,
into
so
that.
I guess one thing I did want to say first. Fun fact. Clearly, I know nothing about recumbent bicycles.
No, me neither.
So
Yeah.
that
Yeah, it's all three
notwithstanding,
of us.
on the topic of voices, 2 particular voices of those nasty ass gremlins that popped out to me. Number 1, a name you all know and love, Mr. Germaphobe himself,
Germaphobe.
Howie Mandel.
Yes.
I mean that I can't help but wonder.
Did he do Bobby's World?
Did
Yes.
did this propel his career?
Maybe.
Who's to say? Who's to say?
Right.
The other one that popped out to me was a name I've known since a kid, Peter Cullen. Ladies and gentlemen, Peter Cullen,
Oh yeah.
the voice of the Optimus Prime, the name, that voice, that everything.
Mm-hmm.
Peter Cullen.
I thought.
Okay, you were missing one. That
Yeah.
I thought you were
Okay.
gonna,
You can
go
say
ahead.
it. No,
Okay.
I thought you were going to say Michael Winslow. Boop, 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 from Police Academy.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nah.
Yeah.
I'll
So-
take Optimus Prime over Police Academy guy any day.
Any day. Yeah. Yeah. Michael
Well, so-
Winslow. That's how I thought he was going.
Hey,
at,
Michael
but-
Winslow, can you transform?
Yeah. You're right. He probably
Precisely.
can't.
Yeah. Peter Cullen.
But yeah, Michael Winslow, Peter Cullen, and Howie, weird guy Mandel.
Mandel.
He's a strange
So-
cat.
Yeah, he is. But Mogwai means devil in Cantonese. So
That's a fun
kinda makes
fact.
sense, yeah. The original cut of this movie, you know how long it was?
7 hours.
8 hours. No. Could you
Wow.
imagine? No.
That's a binge.
It's a long one, yeah. 2 hours and 45 minutes.
That's too much.
That's too much.
That's way too much.
That's like a Batman movie.
There was a lot of, if you notice when you watch this movie in the beginning, they introduce you to a lot of characters that they never really go back to. So in the beginning, you meet, a bunch of different people that it's kind of like you think maybe they're building you up for something. They're kind of like, oh, maybe they'll get back, but they never do. The lady with the 2 kids like begging for, oh, can you not, it's Christmas, so we can't pay our rent or mortgage or whatever it was and all that. They never really go back to her.
Or the lady with the dog
Yeah, I mean, there's just,
in the bank.
yeah. So
What lady with the dog with the bank?
the older lady you talking about? The
The lady that got bit by the dog at the
Yeah.
bank.
At the bank.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
that was Polly Holiday.
Mm-hmm.
So
From
she-
Mel's Diner.
Correct.
Oh,
Thank you,
yeah.
Matt. Thank you. Thank you for that little factoid. So she was Flo, Kiss My Grits
Yes, yes.
from Alice.
Alice. I did. Yeah,
The late
Oh, it's
70s.
Alice. Yeah, I couldn't think of
The late
called it Mel's
70s,
Diner.
early 80s, fantastic sitcom.
Chili con carne.
And much like
Stow it, Alice.
now, there's video of this, but I just like Matt's got his phone out. I got notes here. Zap freestyles. He's like a rapper.
He's like a rapper.
He
Yeah.
has nothing.
He has a little piece of paper that he
it's
ripped
just
off. And,
off the domes. That's impressive.
yeah.
So I'm assuming that
he's-
you just
He's domicizing.
Yeah, it's a steel elephant up there.
right.
Yeah.
It's just impressive because I'm sitting here. I got stuff written out. Zap just kind of retains it all and he's spitting it out. But that was a good. I didn't even know that. I didn't catch that fact.
Retains.
Yeah, come on. This is real easy for me. I mean, look, the
It's
tel-
Gremlins.
the-
It's Gremlins.
That notwithstanding, I mean, the television was my babysitter.
It's built. It's in his wheelhouse. He's built for it.
Actually, that is funny that you state that because I think once our parents realized, because that was the golden age, kind of not like the 50s, but for us growing up in the 70s, it was like a time.
80s, you mean?
Well, late 70s, early
yeah.
80s. I remember TV like early
the
80s. Yeah, I
70s?
guess you would say early 80s.
Yeah, Three's Company and stuff.
Yeah, Shabba-nabba-dee-doo.
Reruns, all that good stuff.
Yeah,
But yeah, you just be like, especially with the cartoon lineups at the
Mm-hmm.
time was very nice.
I think it was about to me that was like the best era. But I guess I'm partial.
Everybody says that
You know,
about their era.
You know what are you gonna do?
You can't touch it.
No.
You can't.
No, you're right.
Experts, including myself, will tell you the same thing. So trust that. And
Yeah.
that notwithstanding, look, it's when I say that the television was the babysitter.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all right. Here it goes. So, mom, dad, anybody's going to leave the house, leave you alone. Latchkey kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Couple of quick rules: don't burn the house down, and don't burn the house down.
Yeah, it was
Right.
don't
Okay,
don't
cool.
play with the stove. Was
Yeah,
the big
man.
one.
So-
Stay away from the stove. You can do whatever
Real
else
easy
you
way
want.
not to do that is watch the telly.
Yeah, just sit down and watch.
Yeah.
And so
Another fun fact on this: it was partly responsible for like almost PG-13 rating.
yeah,
if you
because
read that.
parents were enraged when they went. And, the microwave scene was the big one.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
so since we're talking about PG-13, I just had this conversation over the weekend. So, what was the first? Now this is a trick question.
Mhm.
What was the first PG-13 movie?
Red Dawn.
The first PG-13 movie.
Red Dawn.
It would have been after this, so it would have been, I wouldn't say in 85. Am I close with 85? Do you know the year it came out?
So this is always going to come down to two different answers.
Oh, so okay.
One will say Red Dawn.
That's,
Oh, like
that's what
Matt
I
said,
say.
Okay.
One will say Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Which is
But
not
that
true.
that did not get the
'Cause that's-
PG-13 rating.
Well, I have a little tidbit about that.
I thought that was PG.
So this movie and Indiana Jones inspired PG-13 rating because it was too violent.
But the first out of the gate to be released in theaters for all to see was Red Dawn.
in
And what year-
1984. I
which
think.
got the PG-13
What year?
rating.
What year was that? 84
I mean,
as
come
well.
on.
Yeah.
I think it was later than that, but maybe not. I mean, you can look it up and find out. But yeah, so
Red Dawn was released in August on August 10th of 1984.
so it did come out the same
Yeah,
year.
it became the first movie to be released with the new PG-13 rating, which was pushed by Spielberg. He had his hands in that again.
Boomtown.
So that came out. They came up with that pretty damn fast. Because if this released in June of '84, and you're saying within 2 months
Mm-hmm.
they did that, that's
what it says. I mean, not everything you read is real, but
No,
that's what
but
it
I mean,
says here on
it's-
the interweb.
Yeah, I mean, but it's what we have to go off of, unless you can call Spielberg up.
I
Find
did
out.
have him on speed dial.
He's a liar.
Yeah.
How much is he worth?
More
There's
than
a
me.
lot. A
Well,
lot.
he's in the billions, though. He's a billionaire, correct?
Yeah, it's with a B.
Okay, B.
So this movie, as we know, was set during Christmas time, and it was originally to be released around Christmas.
Was it a summer movie?
It was June.
June. Yeah,
Yeah, it
that's
came out the
summery.
same day as goes.
Yeah, yeah.
They decided on that because there was no competition for Temple of Doom and Ghostbusters. The studio was like, we got to come up. We got to put a good movie out in the summer. Let's put this out against Ghostbusters. And
Which a quick thing on Gremlins too. It had the shittiest snow scenes I've ever seen in supposedly like a Christmas time movie.
Right.
Like the snow was horrible.
it didn't look good.
It
Yeah.
was terrible. Spielberg.
Yeah, they could have did better
Suck.
with that. But
Do better, Spielberg.
yeah. Do you know who was considered to be the director on this?
Ron Howard.
Christopher
Ron Howard?
Columbus.
No. Well, Chris.
Um,
No, it was
Steven
Joe Dante
Spielberg.
was director. No, young guy at the time, really young. Went on.
Corey Feldman.
No, I mean, if you no ideas, any idea, give up.
Yeah.
Tim Burton.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
He would have been
So-
good for this. Kind of,
yeah.
it's kind of
Nice.
like a little bit of like a creepy,
So Spielberg
Dark,
saw some
fun
of.
horror.
I think that would have been a hell of a different movie if Tim Burton
Oh
would
my!
have done it.
I couldn't.
It'd have been way darker.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
So Spielberg saw some of his short films and was like really impressed. And
So he wasn't even big at the time. Like Burton was
No.
just kind of like.
I
little
think Frank
creepy.
and Weenie was out maybe that like first one he did, and
That wasn't that early, was
He-
it?
Frank and I mean he might have been in school at that time. I know
Okay.
he did some work at Disney like when he was before he went on to do. I guess it would have been Batman would have been his first. Do you think? I don't know.
Which came first, the Batman or the Beetlejuice?
Yeah. Oh yes, Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice would have been. You're right. I totally forgot about Beetlejuice.
That was a pretty good movie. That'd be
It
a
was
good
great.
review. Yeah, that stands the test of time.
It does. Definitely want to do that one at some point. Did you like Beetlejuice?
Are you shitting me?
Oh, you were. Yeah, his first short film was Frank and Weenie.
Yeah. I love Tim Burton. I have
Yeah,
a,
Tim Burton. Tim Burton's great. I think we all agree
up
on that.
there.
So we got to get a
There's
Burton. Do a
a
Burton.
there's a film cell from Nightmare Before Christmas. I have about to show you that then. If you're in the movie stuff or whatever. But yeah, so did you guys notice in the beginning scene, the opening scene in Chinatown, right? So Billy's dad's
I don't
in
think
there.
you can say that.
That's what it's called.
You can
No.
absolutely call it Chinatown. Places
okay.
exist that are called Chinatown.
Yeah, it's just what it's
China.
Chinatown. That's what it's
Yeah,
called.
I know. It's a
Did you
joke.
notice the car that was broken down in the street? The type of car it was.
92 Ford Escort.
No. This is an
83
Set up-
DeLorean.
That would have been impressive if it was a 92 Ford Escort. It was an AMC Gremlin broken down in the street.
Gremlin. Gotcha. That's funny.
Yeah. I caught that actually watching it, and I was like, I got to make a note of it. But
Oh,
I
you didn't
couldn't.
read that anywhere? You just.
Well, I did read it then
Oh, okay.
after
I was like,
seeing
that's
it
clever.
and writing my own note down. I was like, that's an AMC Gremlin in the beginning. So if you notice the scene in the beginning, and that 2 hour and 45-minute cut of this movie, there was a lot more Chinatown footage stuff that happened there that they cut out. They're like, yeah, it's too much.
That makes sense, though, to what you had said with respect to you see things during the movie and you think of that as some sort of foreshadowing that, oh, maybe I might see that chick with the 2 kids that, oh, my husband and I are broke as a joke, we'll pay you in a couple of weeks, or this thing or that thing at the other thing.
Mm-hmm.
So when dude's dad is
Dude.
roaming around China, it's
That dude.
Billy?
That dude.
Billy.
that's
That dude.
oh, that's dudes. So
Billy, man.
Billy. So yeah, so when Billy's dad, the inventor extraordinaire,
Mm-hmm.
is roaming around Chinatown, when he goes down and he sees the would be equivalent of Short Round, who introduces him to his grandfather, and he's basically trying to finagle with this Chinaman, like, look, I want to get this gremlin, I gotta get this Mogwai, this
yeah.
Mogwai, and no sale, not happening, not gonna happen, and then on the sly,
Yeah, the little kid on the slide. Was
Yeah.
Gives them money. Yeah.
right. You don't see that guy until the end of the movie. Like
Yeah.
it takes him that long to come back, but yet, truly, that's the lesson in the whole movie. It's like, look, I told you, I told you,
Don't take. You can't handle it, man.
I told you in the beginning, and then I show up at the end. So,
Yeah.
I'm glad they cut all of that stuff out.
There was a lot. There was a lot that they cut out.
Not that I can get into any more Spielberg facts, even the guys like everywhere. But it was the first time that the ET theme logo for Amblin Entertainment was the first one in the movie.
It showed up on the.
Wait,
Yeah.
you're saying that was prior to E.T.?
No. Like after that, I guess when they did
Spielberg's
Amblin
ET theme logo for Amblin Entertainment. You know
With
where
the-
they
the
with this.
I'm
Yeah.
vastly familiar with it, of course.
This was the first time that appeared.
I see.
All because Spielberg was like, "That was my movie."
Now I want to look back and determine. I now want to rewatch E.T. to see if Amblin with E.T.
No.
floating around.
I don't think
is
it was
in the
in that.
beginning of E.T. Like, hey, brought to you by the E.T. Amblin movie thing.
I don't know if
Like foreshadow.
No, Spielberg's all like, "Look, here's my look. I made that, bitches."
yeah.
It's like, check
It's
that
true.
shit out.
It's true.
That's my movie.
I own that.
Yes, and you for watching it.
So talking about the Gizmo puppets, and they did a lot of puppetry in this, and had little mechanical puppets that Gizmo they had to use because CGI wasn't there yet. Obviously, 1984.
They did a great job with
They
that.
did an awesome
It
job.
was
I
just
think.
incredible.
All animatronics.
Yes.
But it's, dude, looking back on that, that was creepy as hell.
Oh yeah.
Watching that little Gizmo's eyeballs moving around all
remember.
over the place, like that was really, really creepy. So we were talking earlier how it's you watched it as a kid and it was whatever it was as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I watch this now years later. Man, like those little animals were disturbing. Like for example,
Mm-hmm.
Gizmo, cute as hell. Loved it.
He-
I
yeah.
even owned as a kid a stuffed animal Gizmo that you shook it about.
Mm-hmm.
He made this little squeaky sound and that was cool. And I loved it. It was great.
Mm-hmm.
There is no way in hell I would want that thing as a stuffed animal based upon seeing the movie now. Like watching his facial expressions and watching his eyeballs just moving all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
That's a creepy looking animal before he, ate after midnight.
Well,
Right.
the animatronics were good on Little Gizmo when they had the Gremlins. Like
Right.
they weren't
They weren't as good.
they weren't as good. The Gremlins were crazy. They could do anything. They just they hanging out at the bars, like driving shit. They like blowing stuff up. They're just like partiers, man.
They smoked like a broke stove.
The guy had, like
Yeah.
4
Damn. Like, look, I got no problem smoking cigarettes, but they put me to shame.
Yeah, they like
Yeah,
the party, man.
They were.
Yeah, they were little partying gremlins. We're getting off topic here. I guess.
Yeah,
Not
we'll get
really,
there. We'll
but
get
yeah,
there. We'll
yeah.
get there. We'll get there.
But back to the part I was going to talk about with the animatronics and all that. So the dart scene at the end with Gizmo was planned because of the frustration with the mechanical Gizmo puppets. So the people that were working on it were so pissed at these Gizmo puppets. They were like, we got to torture them in some way. So they wrote that into the script. You
Just
remember
throwing
that
the
part
darts.
at the end where
Yeah.
they're throwing darts at Gizmo? They wanted
He's
to
like, "Brr,
yeah,
brr."
yeah, they're finding a way to like torture. Just like a little payback.
Well, they
wanted
also
to take
said
out
that
their
they were checking the trunks of the cars before people would leave towards the end of filming this because they didn't want them to steal those the animatron. Those things were so expensive at the time, where a lot of their budget went to making the
little-
Gremlins.
the
Mhm.
little parts that move. Yeah.
Yes.
So the original script included a scene where the Gremlins attack a McDonald's, but ate the customers instead of the food.
Jesus.
Yeah, because this movie was originally supposed to be a horror movie.
Yes.
and then they toned it back.
Because they thought the kids would like the little gizmo thing. They could get a
Yeah.
lot of money off that. And they had McDonald's was part of the Happy Meal with the gizmo, right?
Yeah, that Happy Meal isn't so happy when you get a goddamn gremlin with it.
But you don't have to water your Happy Meal. You just keep it nice and.
Well, that was another
Cozy.
thing with the water. Okay, well, there's a lot of things we can get into.
We'll definitely get there.
Yeah.
I'm still, so think about this. We're talking that this was truly, as you had said, Matt, supposed to have been truly a horror movie that obviously, as we know, resulted with certain, not even certain, just unquestionable comedic effect, right? And then it became, oh, well, it'll be potentially this new rating, PG-13. Nope, we'll just dumb it back down to PG.
Yeah.
Even at PG, now again, we've all seen this. We saw this back in the day when it came out, right? So
absolutely,
again,
yeah.
speaking as children of the 80s here, we saw this. Seeing this now, like however many years later, like wow, just wow.
What are you
Think-
wowing?
Think about taking your kids
Oh,
to see a
yes,
movie
yes.
where A woman takes this animal, throws it into the goddamn blender. 1, and green black blood is flying all over the place.
Microwave.
2, microwave. For Christ's sake, like these.
Plus,
kids,
she grabs a knife. It's like trying to stab him and throw him plates, and plates fine. Yeah,
kids are going to walk out of this movie with the really wrong idea.
I remember seeing this as a kid, and I don't remember for sure, but I wonder, like as a kid, the marketing on this. I do remember they didn't really show you much. It's not like now where you can just Google, like a movie's coming out, and you want to see what the creatures look like, just Google it. Back then, reading up on this a little bit, I don't really remember it because now we obviously know what they all look like. But these Gremlins and Gizmo, it was all kind of hidden. They would just show on the cover. It was just the hands coming out, so you didn't know what you were going to see.
If you watch that movie closely enough, you don't know what a gremlin looks like. Not Mogwai,
right?
Gremlin. You do not know what one of them looks like until that kitchen scene.
Yes.
That is the first point at which you get to see the face of that green, slimy little piece of shit.
that's where the horror aspect came from. That's why they're trying to do the horror movie about it.
Well, this movie, if you think about it, was kind of like all over the place with that. It was trying to be a horror movie, but like kind of comedy and kind of for kids, but you know.
What's green and red and scratches at the microwave window?
I don't know what.
Gremlin.
Oh, okay. I thought
In
you
the
had
microwave.
a real joke about it. Okay. But
You're right.
yeah.
I kind of messed that joke up. Never mind.
So Billy's dog Barney was also in Pumpkinhead.
Oh, that was a good movie.
1988, great movie. Yeah, I love Pumpkinhead. I'd like
I think
to
you
do
rented
that.
that.
One. Yeah, we watched it back in the day. That was a great movie.
That was a cool
Who was
movie.
the guy in
The
that?
actor.
The main guy in Pumpkinhead. He's like
No, the older guy.
Yeah,
the cop. He always plays cops.
He's always like he has that look.
Yeah.
Got to look at one up.
Is it the guy from Family Matters?
No. It was a white dude in Pumpkinhead.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out who the hell names their dog Mushroom.
Yeah, that's what his name was in real life.
Right.
Mushroom, yeah.
Lance Henriksen.
Lance Hendrickson. There he is.
Right there. Yeah, that guy. He looks older there.
Yeah.
He kind of looks like George W. Bush.
Pumpkinhead was great.
A little bit.
That man looks nothing like George W. Bush. George W. Bush is a saint.
Yeah.
He is. Good press. Good
He
press.
was. According to the original script by Chris Columbus, Kingston Falls, the town they were in, was in Pennsylvania. So, yeah. Because I thought for some reason, like watching the movie, I thought more like Midwest maybe, or in my head I was thinking. But then I was like, well, there's Chinatowns, I guess, in like San Francisco,
Philadelphia,
Los Angeles. Is there one?
LA.
Yeah, there is one. But I think they said this particular Chinatown he was visiting was supposed to be in New York City.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a Chinatown in St. Louis. I
No,
don't know
no.
if there's a Chinatown
In Chicago.
Cheyenne, Wyoming.
There's one.
Now there
Yeah.
might be one in Chicago. There
Yeah.
might be one. I don't know.
Chicago has a Chinatown. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
but I just don't know about like the
Texas.
Mm-hmm.
man. America's so jacked up geographically, right? You think Midwest. So amazingly enough, basically like anything west of the original 13 colonies is the Midwest. It's just weird.
Yeah. But in my head, I don't know. I just thought.
Until you get to the west.
Yeah.
Right.
That's all the way out there on the coast.
Yeah.
The way west.
Yeah, the way west.
So the chainsaw scene with Stripe at the end, that was an homage. I'm sorry. That was an homage to Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Nice.
Yeah.
God bless you, Steven Spielberg.
Then again, the horror aspect of the movie. They try to go back to a little horror stuff.
Leatherface. So the theater that blew up with the Gremlins inside is the same one that Marty McFly crashes the DeLorean into in Back to the Future and blew it up. And I think I read that after Back to the Future 2, that theater actually burned down for real.
I was going to mention that to you too. So
Yeah.
I was going to say that's a great fun fact. I had no idea, but I was going to say to you, wow, that theater looks really familiar. Yeah.
It's the same strip. They just changed the signage and stuff.
Do you guys know where the Gremlins concept came from? From Chris Columbus, why he came up with the Gremlins for the movie?
Well, go ahead. You can talk about it.
Well, no, he just he had a bit of a rodent problem in the first apartment that he had.
No. Okay.
And he said like he would hear him like at
That's
night.
it, yes.
Yeah, he
I
would hear
did
him like
read that.
running across the floors and stuff at night, and he'd be like, "Man, like freaking gremlins and shit."
But where the actual idea for Gremlins was born out of during World War II.
Correct.
Yeah. You got some
Mechanical
stuff on
problem.
that?
No, I got nothing on that.
Oh, okay.
I just know that. I know that exists. I mean, I've seen. We've all seen the Looney Tunes and old cartoons that where they were featured.
Right.
It's just
It was Bugs Bunny. He's like, "What is that? A gremlin?" Or something like that. That's not a bad Bugs Bunny.
something. Just these rando things that would cause mechanical failure.
Oh, Jonathan Lithgow was in what the Twilight Zone.
Yeah,
The
which
movie.
Spielberg was.
It was Spielberg.
He was.
Damn, that's Spielberg, dude.
And Dante was actually. I think they wrote for that Twilight Zone movie,
which has nothing to do with Gremlins.
Yes,
but was there something on the plane?
On the plane, on the end, it was ripping up the engine. It was this little thing. It was a gremlin.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
You're right.
Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Based on the original Twilight Zone.
Look at that.
Starring dude from Star Trek.
Leonard Nimoy?
No.
Jean-Luc Picard.
No. The original
William
Captain
Shatner.
Kirk. William Shatner was in the original Twilight Zone that had a gremlin on the wing, and they redid that with Jonathan Lithgow.
I think there was a poster of that in that movie theater in Gremlins or something like that I read. Don't quote me on that, but I think I
sounds
read
like a fun fact, though. It's something to look up, any listener out there.
So we talked about
time.
this movie being a lot longer. There were like deleted scenes that were removed. There was the whole part with Billy being he was like an artist or something, or was writing, trying to. Do you remember that part?
Yeah, so he was a cartoonist.
That's what it was.
A little hobby, little something to do on the side.
Kind of like Cusack.
When he wasn't a bank teller, trying to help make ends meet with his
in banking
with his bum inventor dad.
It was never absentee
that guy
father.
he needed a real job. He wouldn't. Father never home. Tried these wacky inventions like shaving cream.
He's no Ron Popeil.
And
that's all you needed.
And here's another thing. Now I saw this
beat ass orange juicer.
Yeah, and it never even worked.
Anything around the house,
nothing worked.
His stuff
horrible
garbage.
Dad.
So anyway, yes, while he was doing his sidecar as in fact just his real job as a bank teller. For funsies, he would do some artistry,
and I guess
comics. And in fact, the next door neighbor guy who ran the snowplow, made out of the Kentucky whatever the heck thing,
Kentucky Western,
Kentucky Western, he purchased 13 years ago. God, American made, still
American
good.
made,
better than these foreign models. He had in fact asked him about, hey, how's the comic book coming?
Yeah.
He was the garbage collector in the Burbs.
So,
also true.
Same character.
Also true.
There was like a whole lot more with him and his comic book career.
Yeah, Feldman also in the Burbs.
Yeah.
In this movie.
Also true.
Do you know Feldman was put in this movie? He was supposed to be in E.T., but got cut from it, and that's why Spielberg put him in this kind of like.
I say good.
Yeah,
I say
could
good.
see him in that.
Nah, I think E.T.'s a hell of a lot better without Feldman.
Yeah,
I think a lot of films are better without Feldman.
Yeah, not a fan.
Not like License to Drive.
Couldn't care less. Just could not care less.
Doesn't really add.
License to Drive was pretty good. Goonies was pretty good.
He was in Goonies. Yeah, you're right.
Goonies was good.
I think Corey Feldman in any movies like putting in canned laughing,
the Lost Boys,
or canned clapping, like in sitcoms back in the day. That to me is the addition to Corey Feldman to pretty much any film.
Right.
He had Lost Boys. He was good in. Yeah, Goonies. He was great in. Movie.
I mean, I think you're just so used to him that you know it's one of them things. But
yeah,
I'm glad he wasn't in E.T. also.
Like pimples.
Yeah, right. So there's also a deleted scene with Judge Reinhold in the bank vault. Wait, what'd you say?
like pimples.
So again, I'm sorry. You've got me dwelling on goddamn Corey Feldman here. I mean, he was to me just a pestilence on movies. His presence just
adds nothing.
It just rubs me the wrong way. Like he's awful. He's just bad. There's nothing good he couldn't otherwise be substituted with, or somebody else can do it better.
Right.
Like, who did you know that got you into this movie?
Michael Jackson.
Dude, hey, asshole, you suck.
Well, no, they said that whole shit with him growing up, like he was in that eerie part of Hollywood with the young kids becoming actors, going to those parties. Guys were getting them hooked on coke. He had some shit.
This Billy guy was obviously, what do you think, 21, 22? He was at a bar.
22, 23.
And he's hanging out with like his friends, like what was Feldman then, like 11?
So that's amazing. So it's again, having recently seen this, and Billy's at the bar with Phoebe Cates. And Judge Reinhold shows up and says,
yes,
I'm going to be VP at the local bank. And no, dude, you're not.
Right.
So that notwithstanding, I thought Billy was, I don't know, late teens,
high school kid.
That's high school kid.
That's what they started at.
I'm thinking, dudes like hanging out at a bar, like, wow, man, I want to move to that town.
Well, the only thing I was thinking,
I could get served there.
Well, I think 18 was a drinking age.
I was going to say some states had that. Which PA? I don't. Well, no, that would have been if it was PA.
But no, he was I mean, they were out of high school. It was his job as a but I thought it was like a part-timer too. Like I thought they were in high school.
Take note, at no point was there reference to school in that
No.
at all.
Mm-mm.
Well, they
In
do
that
show a
movie.
lot of the school though.
No, they showed it the Y.
The Y. It was a YMCA.
No, it wasn't the professor in the high school? Didn't they take the gremlins to the
yeah.
professor?
Shit, he's right.
So
he's
were they
right.
still in
God.
high school?
Yeah, man. Well, he
I
might
don't
have just
know.
known the dude.
From high when he was
Yeah,
in
but
high school, could have been.
You don't really hang out like the professors unless you're trying to. Like,
Don't think of
get
it
a
as
better-
hanging out.
Better
Just maybe
grade.
he was like, "Hey, man,
Hey,
I dug science when I was here, and hey, we got along well, and hey, maybe a year or two later."
Could
but when you
help me
said
out?
that no reference towards high school, there was.
Back to the bar scene.
In fact, you're right.
Thank you.
One thing I want to point out before I forget, I love that Reinhold to show off and like flex on Phoebe Cates. It was like, hey, come to my house. I got cable.
He had game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like,
That was a great line.
yeah.
Come over to my new apartment. Well, do you want to see my new apartment? Well, I haven't seen your old apartment.
Yeah.
Oh, come on over. Have dinner. I've got cable.
Yeah.
I remember that as a kid. I remember as a kid saying to my, certainly not to whatever that was going. I remember saying it to my parents because I grew up with the antenna,
Right.
complaining,
As we all did.
pleading with my parents. Come on, man. This guy, that guy, they've got the cable.
The cable. Yeah.
I just remember getting my first Nintendo, and it had the two little prongs on each that you had to screw it out, and then put the two little prongs in. And it had the little
The UHF adapter.
and then you had to plug.
Indeed.
That was
That's
my
right.
first experience with cable.
Is a VHF or UHF
Yeah,
adapter?
UHF adapter.
One or the other. Yeah. And if you didn't have the right,
They've
But
got
that
it
was
all
more
on
of
UHF.
an Atari thing, though. I thought.
Was that Atari?
I think
thought that
by
was Nintendo.
Not necessarily.
Well, I
So
guess it depends on your TV.
Yeah,
You're right.
I had that for
Because
Nintendo.
if you had RCA composite jacks, they
It was-
had
it was
those on the
Nintendo.
lab.
Now, understand this goes way back to the your cathode ray tubes, right? So
Mhm.
whatever you've got sticking out of the back of that, you're damn lucky if you have RCA jacks. Otherwise, you're
Right.
talking about those two screws.
Yes, it's
Right.
two screws, man.
Let alone if you have a coax input.
Coax,
Back
yes,
there.
coaxial.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm
Back
just
in the
talking
day.
back in the day in the 80s.
For all
it was
you,
a mixed bag.
For all
Right.
you young kids listening, go look those up.
Yeah.
It was a struggle, man.
Yeah, it was a struggle.
Go buy yourself
Struggle
a
was real.
Zenith television.
Yeah, all American. So, did you know that Gizmo and Stripe were originally going to be the same character?
But that was part
Yeah.
of the PG-13 rated one.
Yeah. So instead of
So good guy becomes bad guy,
Yes.
as opposed to
Mhm.
good guy spawning bad guy.
Mhm.
So if good guy
Yeah.
became bad guy, imagine the strife with the characters on having to kill bad guy, knowing bad guy was good guy.
I wonder how well Peter Cullen could voice both Optimus Prime and Megatron.
yeah,
Wrap your head around that one.
Was
Yeah.
he Megatron?
Huh?
He was Megatron?
No.
Okay, then why would you say that?
Well, I'm saying that's why they cut it, because they couldn't get the guy who voiced Megatron.
Who was Starscream? He had a
The-
pretty kick-ass voice.
The same guy that voiced Cobra Commander from G.I.
Cobra
Joe.
Commander, yes.
GI Joe.
He's
Yeah,
a real
I
American
loved
hero.
Transformers. Do you like the newer movies and stuff that came out?
Transformers?
Yeah.
Meh.
Nah.
Yeah, exactly. There's too much
Nah.
going on. You can't even see any of the. Yeah,
How
it
about-
bothers me.
How about GoBots? Remember them?
The cheap Transformers.
Yeah. Remember them?
If your parents can't afford Transformers, come on over this way
Yeah. GoBots.
for some GoBots.
They had Leader One. It was interesting. It was like GoBots was like the inverse of Transformers. So the good guys, they were led by this gray, like F-16 jet dude, and his name was Leader One. You can't come up with a name for a dude. You got Leader One.
Well, no.
Right.
Whatever happened to Leader 2 or 3 or 0 if you're
Right.
doing binary?
Yeah.
But then the bad guy was Cyclonus.
I don't remember. I just remember there were GoBots.
I
But he was a
remember-
motorcycle, so he
Yeah.
was on the ground. Versus again,
Bad guys in the air.
correct.
Two guys,
All I remember
gotcha.
from being a kid is that you could get GoBots at James Way Plaza.
Yeah.
You would have to get the Transformers at Toys R Us
Truth.
Is it
Or KB Toy Store.
or KB Toy Store.
K-Boy. Yeah, KB was good. Matchbox,
It's a whole-
Hot Wheels. all that
Matchbox,
crap.
Hot Wheels.
And we
Yes.
could have an whole episode on like 80s toys.
Yeah,
and,
this train is so far off the goddamn tracks.
but and it's really not, I guess, because if you're into this movie, you're probably into those toys. I would hope. And
Yeah, we're just kicking knowledge, man.
You'll appreciate it. But I feel what Zap's saying. But yeah, they were supposed to be the same character, Gizmo and Stripe. And if you notice, Gizmo didn't really have much. He was just in that backpack for pretty much the second.
Backpack?
Yeah, he was carrying around that backpack
Well, they
because
didn't know what to do with his legs and
Yeah,
shit.
well,
They
that
couldn't-
and they didn't know, like, hey, we already had it kind of written this way, and then you made that change. And the theory was that with like E.T.
Yep, that's exactly where I was going.
Yeah.
I think of E.T. wrapped in a blanket in the front of the basket, and E.T.'s all hidden. It's easier.
Much easier.
You can have so much more interaction with any other character that's just talking to some animatronic thing that's wrapped in a blanket, sitting in a thing. You can do the same thing with a whatever sitting in a backpack.
Yeah, well, they thought too that it would.
Nobody puts E.T. in a backpack
That's right. They thought too that
except Steven Spielberg.
Spielberg can do anything.
they thought that like it would upset kids. I guess that Gizmo was now a bad guy, and they figured out we can't have that, and so that's why they kind of went that route.
That would completely ruin marketing.
Yeah.
Again,
Yes,
I had the
yes.
goddamn toy.
Yeah, you could have put
If
it.
I knew that thing could turn into some green slimy thing that could, knife me in my sleep, no, I'm not buying it.
Right.
It was just good marketing. When they had to sit down with the marketing team before they threw the movie out there, the marketing team was like, "Nah, man, we need this cute little Gizmo thing."
Which is how that rolled back then. Again, we were just talking about it earlier. We could have a whole session on how cartoons and toys are all tied in together. It just
Marketed,
goes
yeah.
crazy.
just look, you think of like this huge table with people making at that time $180,000-$200,000 a year, sitting around smoking cigars and cigarettes for hours, drinking scotch, talking about how we're going to market this.
So Murray Futterman, and he was the one with the tractor and all that. Him and his wife
Murray.
and Sheila. Yeah, Murray and Sheila. Futterman.
Oh, Sheila.
You remember the scene where obviously he goes out to check his antenna, and the gremlins.
Don't the Gremlins get him?
Yeah, but they
get
come
him.
down and they steal his
Tractor.
and like crash into the house and all that. And you pretty much think, I thought they were dead watching it. I just assumed that they were dead, that they killed them. But I guess at the end, when they're playing that news,
Yes.
they make
a reference to them being okay.
So I guess they weren't dead.
Yeah.
In the book, though, they said that they actually were. There were a lot more dead in the book than they actually put in the movie. So according to this, the body count was 4.
Let the bodies hit the floor.
I got to believe that one of them was that angry woman at the bank that we spoke about earlier who was bitten by Billy's dog.
Right. How did she meet her demise?
I
we were
believe
talking about that earlier.
If I'm not mistaken, Florence Jean Castleberry, a.k.a.
Flo.
as played by Polly Holiday, and alas, her name escapes me from this movie. But again, she was just that mean old crotchety.
She's like the Wicked Witch of the West.
Yeah,
Pretty
great,
much,
Great
basically.
analogy, Matt. Yeah. Absolutely. She, in fact, is the Wicked Witch of the West. And she's, she is just talking to Billy the whole time. Not only cash my check, deposit my check. Billy could fuck her whole life up by screwing with her bank balances and doing whatever. And she's just not only telling him what to do, she's also telling him how she's going to murder his dog, torture and murder his dog.
She was a bit uppity.
That notwithstanding, of the body count, she's got to be one because I believe she met her demise. The Gremlins were messing around with the electrics, and she was an elderly woman, or at least tried to play off that she was an elderly woman. And she used one of those magical chairs that would move up the staircase.
Yeah.
Well, someone turned that, I'm guessing Stripe and Friends,
The little Gremlins.
turned that thing into overdrive. And once she got into that thing,
Out the
was
window.
over,
yeah, so she spun up the circular staircase and right out the window.
Oh, that was it.
So
And
yeah,
there she
demise.
lay.
You're
There
right.
she lay.
So she,
You
it's
couldn't
her,
survive that.
We got her. We got the professor.
Professor.
Yeah,
Dead.
he's dead. She's dead. Who else are we missing here? There's 2 other ones, I guess, according to this. And the Futtermans did not die, so I would have
they
thought
did
maybe
not.
they would have been those 2.
I know you can't get Gremlins wet. I
yeah, we
that.
know that.
Can't
Well,
put them in a pool.
Think about that if you can think of it when we're getting through the movie here. If you think of the other 2.
Okay, the other 2 people.
I couldn't really think because I was looking back on it. I just watched it last night.
Yeah, those are the only 2 murders I know.
I can look it
Yeah.
up here on my handy dandy notebook.
Right. So
I'm still trying to figure out though how it wasn't shown specifically how the professor
Wasn't there some
the
old
high school
man-
teacher how the high school teacher died. I mean, he was found underneath some table
with
and
a
he,
shot, yeah, you got
and he
you.
had a shot in his butt. I don't know what was in that shot. Was it fentanyl? Who knows?
Well, yeah. Well, I know he used that. He used that to extract blood.
Blood from the
Yeah,
gremlin.
from the
Oh,
gremlin.
I get that it was a revenge,
Yeah.
syringe in the butt.
Okay, I'm looking at humans here. So Roy Hansen, Ruby Deagle,
That's a girl.
yeah,
Flow.
Low.
Dave Myers. Oh, was it when the police car flipped?
Maybe. I mean, maybe.
Deputy Brent and Sheriff Frank.
So those two.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Well, there you go.
All right,
There you
got
have
it.
it.
Gremlins, cop killers. That's not even cool.
Oh, my
Not
goodness.
even, yeah.
Man, they're like iced tea.
Ice tea, body count.
Wow.
Mm.
Yeah.
This is a bad idea to put into kids' heads, man.
Yeah.
PG-13 it should have been. I'm upset right now.
I'm pushing for R.
Should have been an R
I'm
rating.
pushing for R. This is terrible.
They should remake it like that, rated R. Make it actually like a horror movie.
I mean, yeah, we're talking thrashing.
Well, there was 2017.
Evil.
Yeah, just real
I think they were
dark.
really
Yeah,
talking.
man.
Do you guys remember the Gremlins cartoon?
Vaguely.
It was Gizmo and the Chinese guy. They had like this little thing, and like Gizmo would go like help people.
I don't.
Do you guys remember that?
I don't remember that at all.
It's actually-
And that's messed up because I know a lot of cartoons.
Yeah. I vaguely
I'll-
remember,
I'll
but I
find
didn't
it for
remember
you.
the Teen Wolf one when we brought it up until you
Teen
brought
Wolf
it
was-
up.
yeah,
and
Teen
then
Wolf
I
had
was
a
like, oh, I
cartoon
do kind
also.
of remember that Teen Wolf cartoon. But did you guys catch the? There was one scene watching it at, and I was like, that didn't look really too good. Was the when the Gremlins are marching down the street, and the CGI wasn't CGI, it was like stop animation.
where they were just kind of.
It looked bad. That was one of the only scenes that I was like, that looks really bad.
So there was that scene insofar as the break in what you would expect to be the reality of the show. Again, reality is the wrong word, but it's the play of the. So it's not claymation, right? This is live
Right.
filmed animatronics. So another scene that was not that, but it was like it did not fit is when they're running behind the movie theater screen.
Yes.
When they're running behind the movie theater screen and you're looking at what really is animated gremlins running at the white screen with you're seeing the shadows of gremlins running at the screen. Like it's animated. It's absolutely animated. You can see it.
Yeah.
Like Helen Keller could see this.
It looks bad.
Yeah.
That would be
correct.
amazing. Actually, just looking something up, there actually for 2023, it's called Gremlins Secret of the Mogwai, going to be on HBO Max.
Oh, they're bringing it back.
Yes, just Gremlins Secret of the Mogwai.
Oh, that's animated though.
Coming to well, it's a cartoon.
I thought it might be live action.
It's for the kids, man.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know. I think,
Just when Hollywood hasn't run out of enough ideas.
yeah,
Like-
they'll just keep milking it and remaking
Hey,
it.
man, you know how we can make some money?
Remember that thing?
Yeah.
Man.
They have the Grammys. Nah,
Yeah.
whatever, man. Let's just bring that back.
Arguably, it's probably a couple of stoners sitting around talking about that. And then somebody talked to
Somebody
legal and
heard-
said
yes.
they already did that.
He said they called HR, then they called legal, then he called OPM. Like, yeah, man, that'll work.
So I guess we really talked about like a lot of facts of the movie and stuff like that. We didn't really talk much about the actual script and all that and how it kind of plays out. But I mean, once again, like most movies, we're hoping that you've seen it. I mean, were there any standout parts? I mean, like I talked about earlier, I thought it was kind of like a crazy movie in that it started out like it might be kind of like a family type movie. Then it got a little dark and then it went back to being kind of comical. I think with these gremlins, when they first hatched, it could have been a real horror movie when they were like cocooned and all that. And it was kind of
That
like,
was kind of scary as
a kid,
being
you
a
know?
kid.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me like Aliens.
Yeah,
Remember Aliens?
Spielberg pulled that right out of Ridley Scott. No question. I mean, that was Alien all the way through. Not for nothing. This movie is worth watching just for the bar scene.
Yeah.
Not the first bar scene, the
With Judge
clean
Reinhold,
one.
yeah.
I'm talking the gremlin one. When you've got
Little gremlin hookers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a cross-dressing
Cigarettes.
gremlin.
Yes, cross-dressing gremlins.
You got a cross-dressing gremlin. You got another gremlin smoking 3 cigarettes at a time.
Right.
You got another one with guns.
Yeah.
These
Yeah,
are
they're guns.
Where did they get the pistols?
Right.
They stole them. They're gremlins.
Unbelievable. Oh, and then Phoebe Cates. Poor Phoebe Cates. She is this bar slave to the gremlins. She can't leave lest they scratch her to death, kill her, do whatever
They
gremlins,
do what the gremlins do. Mhm.
Yeah.
She just keeps on pouring beers. Sure, that'll make them go away. I'll just keep pouring beers.
Not when they have guns.
They did have guns.
Yeah, we were watching it. And
They'll shoot you at a table. And if
Yeah.
you're holding if you're holding the wrong hand, if you're cheating at poker, you'll get shot.
Yeah, the gremlin. They didn't play games, man.
No.
Yeah,
Except poker.
very, very true.
And they had one that was doing like, it looked like, Olivia Newton-John. Let's get
Yes,
physical.
let's
She
get
had like
physical.
the leg warmers on,
And she was doing the whole thing.
yeah, the break dancing. They had that. They just had.
There was the scene with the dude that was like you think of the like a bluesman, but not necessarily a bluesman. I'm thinking more of like a Humphrey Bogart.
Yeah,
Just
Like,
sitting there. He's just got he's got his fedora sitting low.
Mhm.
Just
well, it kind of remind me from like
sitting
Weird
alone.
Science there when.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's why. Yeah. That's yeah.
You know what this girl did to me, man?
Yeah,
Yeah, that
Michael,
one.
Michael
Uh-huh.
Anthony Hall. Yeah,
Wasn't
that's,
he
if
in
that's
a-
what you're talking about. That scene with the gremlin.
Michael Anthony
Yeah.
Hall, was he in Dexter?
No, that was C. Michael. Michael
Okay,
C. Hall. I
Michael
think,
C.
or something
Hall.
like that. Yeah, yeah.
He doesn't even have a license, Lisa. Lisa.
Yeah, exactly. That's
yeah.
him. Yeah.
I love that scene in Weird Science. It's a great movie.
That is a great. Wow, we haven't covered that one either.
Oh,
Foreshadowing.
We'll get to it
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, I love that movie. But yeah, that scene, like he said in the bar, with all the different things going on with the Gremlins, that was wild.
Yeah, it's pretty much like, a man goes to Chinatown, gets a gift for his kid,
Mm-hmm.
gift gets out of hand, can't handle it, Gremlins cause some shit, town gets destroyed, Christmas.
Pretty much. One other thing I do want to touch on is the crazy ass story that Phoebe Cates about her dad. And,
Oh, I did read. Yeah, go ahead.
well,
that was dark.
yes.
Yeah.
Just again, another reason to not be a PG movie.
Mhm.
That was dark as hell, man.
Could you please elaborate?
Yeah, so basically her story, she was not into Christmas and all that.
No.
Yeah, so, and you don't know why. You're like, well, wonder why she hates Christmas so much, because her dad, what do you do? Like, died trying to come down the chimney as Santa, like broke
He
his
was
neck.
suffocated. They found him like 3 weeks later.
Dude broke his neck. So
Yeah.
dude tried to come down. He wanted to surprise his family, wanted to play Santa. As he's sliding down the chimney,
Crack.
he breaks his neck and they find him.
Yeah,
3 weeks later.
after so many,
After
yeah.
the stench.
Damn.
So Joe Dante,
That's like the dumbest thing I've ever heard, though.
that was his idea.
But who does that shit?
Well, he wanted it in there. Everybody else was like,
Yeah,
this is
get it out.
bad,
That's
it's horrible,
stupid.
and this and that. And even Spielberg was like, look, I don't like it, but if it's your movie, you keep it in if you want.
But I think
And he went with
Spielberg,
it.
can't he like override some shit?
Well, he couldn't then. He can now.
Yeah.
That
But
was
even
some
then, no,
really
he
dark
was-
shit, though. That was really, really dark.
But
It was.
it made the movie kind of dumb. I thought that the whole story was out of reach.
To me, like, I don't know how, like, I wanted to laugh just during that part. I was like, is this supposed to be funny or is it like for real? Or
Yeah,
like
she's joking
what?
about this.
Yeah, is it for real or not? But I don't know. Some even say that might have hurt her career, her acting career, because it was so like off
Stupid.
the wall. Like the
Yeah,
acting was
it
just
was
bad.
dumb.
It just made it look bad.
it
But
was out of nowhere.
yeah,
Thank you.
but I
Kind
that,
of ruined the Christmas movie.
that
sense.
scene was kind of stand out for me, just kind of weird. And
That story and the Gremlins.
No, the Gremlins were fun. It was Christmas time. I remember we had a Christmas bulb that had like the Gremlins on it. Had like Gizmo and you
Really?
have the yeah.
What?
It was a bulb. It's like was that what it's called? A
Christmas bulb.
bulb.
Yeah,
Yeah, it had like Gizmo and like Stripe and yeah, it was a bulb.
yeah,
I think I still have
Christmas
it.
bulbs.
Yeah, Christmas bulb.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, there was a couple parts in this movie I think that was two that I can think of off the top of my head.
But as I said, looking back at it now from being younger, I found it to be like cheesy,
Mhm.
silly at most, at best, I guess I would say. But it was still fun. It's fun to watch.
I agree. I think it was fun and kind of nostalgic.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
enjoy. I
Mm.
certainly enjoyed the nostalgia. I enjoy the cheese.
I
Yeah.
like when it sparks up nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
They don't make movies like this anymore.
No.
They don't. These are just throwaway, quick little stories.
Mm-hmm.
Those don't exist.
No.
You mean idea, quick story? we can make a movie
it was
out of
just
this.
fun and simple and
Let's-
dumb. And here we go, and we're gonna do this, and away goes the movie.
Let's
No,
make
they
a
don't do
quick
that
200-some million. Did you say? box office?
Yeah, it was 212.
Yeah, that's
Everything has to be dramatic and
Man,
a big epic story and whatever anymore.
yeah. You're talking.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
Just let it go.
3 hours now for some movies where you're like, come on, stop.
right.
Let's
I
just
mean-
have fun for an hour and 30 minutes and call it a day.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was good. I mean, to watch again, like I said, one thing I didn't catch, and I don't think I even put two and two together when I was a kid, that the Mogwai's name's Gizmo, and because the dad has all these gizmos.
He's an
he-
inventor.
Yeah, he's an inventor, and I think when I was a kid, it didn't even dawn on me. Oh, Gizmo. I don't even know if that was terminology that was used. Like, hey, that's a cool gizmo.
That was pretty deep, Dave.
Well, did you know? I mean, did
No, I
you realize
didn't even
it?
think. I didn't even think that.
You didn't think about the name?
No.
I'm sure Zap did.
I'm sure if you ask a kid nowadays what a gizmo is, he's going to look at you like he got two heads.
Yeah. You think? Well, was Gizmo like something?
No,
in the-
Gizmo is still used
in-
today. Like,
in
what's
the-
that little gizmo? On the
Wasn't
table?
there? I was seeing there like a website
widget.
called Gizmodo or something like that, or There's like a tech website or something like that. Gizmodo or Gizmo. I don't know.
Right.
Oh, Gizmo. No wonder his dad does
Gizmos.
inventions. That's why he named it.
But his
Gizmo.
dad's invention sucked.
They
It ruined the
weren't good.
movie.
Well,
I don't know.
Gizmo sucked.
I think I think there still remains big hope for the bathroom buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like right here we got some toothpaste and
Doesn't seem
If you
too
didn't shave,
sanitary.
yeah,
Everything like
nasty.
jammed together.
Some big thing the size of 2 Rubik's cubes.
Yeah.
terrible.
But you guys have anything else you want to touch on that we missed? Anything? Yeah.
No, I'm
No,
good.
I mean,
man.
I think,
just,
like I said, it's definitely a good watch. If you haven't seen it, it might seem like Matt said and Zap said, nostalgic, cheesy, but enjoyable.
But if you're going to take the rabbit hole down the, Gremlins past, try Gremlins 2 also while you're at
1990, I think they came out. Yeah.
Got Hulk Hogan in there. Some great acting.
Joe Dante said he prefers.
Listen here, brother.
I have never seen Gremlins 2.
Yeah.
You do not.
I didn't want to ruin.
You do not want to.
No.
I didn't want to ruin the joy of seeing Gremlins the first.
Well, Joe Dante said he
DOG.
prefers part 2 to part 1. So I don't know. That's the director. He said he liked part 2 better. So
Well, why don't you guys give it a watch and let us know?
yeah, I don't know where we
check
review
it
that
out.
one, but
I don't think no.
we got other ones to get to.
We won't touch on that.
Bigger fish to fry. So I guess that's it for now.
Yeah. Hey, Weird Science. Put that one out there.
Put that one out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If anybody
Well, I
likes
know we're
that.
gonna knock out some horror movies.
Yeah, it's getting close to Halloween.
Yeah.
'Tis the season.
Yes.
Yep.
To be ghosty.
At any rate, thanks for tuning in. Thanks to Zap. Thanks to Matt. Don't forget to check us out on Instagram and Facebook at Old Dirty Basement, on TikTok at Old Dirty Basement Podcast. Leave us that 5-star review, we hope. Leave us a written review if you can on Apple Podcasts. I know you can do that.
Wow,
Helps
written's
us,
cool.
help us get discovered. Give us some feedback. I hope you're liking Zap like we are. I think he's adding to the show. I think the show's getting better. I
Yes,
think
thank
we're
you, Zap,
finding our
for
groove.
No,
sitting in,
fellas,
man.
thank you for
Sitting
having
in.
me.
Yeah.
It's a joy every time.
No, we love it. Getting a lot of good content. These episodes are,
Rolling off the tongue.
rolling off the tongue.
Yeah, like hours.
It's getting,
Hours and hours of enjoyment.
It's getting easy. So I had people tell me actually they wish episodes were longer. So
Oh.
they're enjoying them. So we want to give you more content. And that's why we have Zap here. So at any rate, I guess
Thank you,
that's it
Zap.
for
Thank
now.
you, Dave.
Yeah.
It was fun.
I guess that's it for now. We'll catch you where?
On the flip side.
Laters.
Peace. Thanks for listening to The Vintage Cinema Review in the Old Dirty Basement. If you dig our theme music like we do, check out the Tsunami Experiment. Find them on Facebook. Their music is streaming on Spotify and Apple, and where great music is available.
You can find us at Old Dirty Basement on Facebook and Instagram, and at Old Dirty Basement Podcast on TikTok.
Peace.
We outie 5,000.